Hello and welcome to another In.It Apparel video. We make these videos for you, so we'd like to know what you want to learn about. So please leave us a comment with whatever you'd like us to cover in future videos. We can go more into photography, branding, the manufacturing process, different types of garments, whatever you'd like. Please just let us know what you want to see in the future. So last week, we gave you some tips on how to manage your brand's social media, and you guys really seem to like it, so we're gonna go a little bit deeper, and today we'll be talking about how to create a comprehensive content creation plan to make your content creation process go so much easier. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. So content creation is something that can be really intimidating when you're just getting started. The feeling of having to put out something new every single day can be very overwhelming. But there is a trick to making this not as scary or overwhelming, and that is simply proper planning. If you plan ahead just a little bit, it will save you so much time and so much worry in the future. So we'll break this video up into sections, so if you're looking for just a specific one, you can go check the description for the timestamps. So part one is planning out what kind of content you want to create. Now, when we're talking about content planning, it doesn't mean you have to know exactly what posts you're gonna put out every single day for the next 6 months and exactly what photo is gonna go with them. What we actually mean is more just planning out the overall look and the different types of content that your page will have. So at this stage, a really useful tool would be to put together a lookbook or a vision board of photos that you find around social media that you think is the kind of thing you want to be going for with your social media. Now, in this vision board, you can break it up into the different objectives that your page has, which we went over in the previous video, which would be to create product awareness, or to create brand awareness, or to share your clients' work, or whatever it might be. This is completely up to you, but breaking it up into sections where each section has its own goal is definitely a great way to do it. So basically just think of a couple of different types of content you'd like to do. For example, we'll use client shares, product shots, some lifestyle shots, and behind the scenes. So once you have these different types of content laid out, you can start thinking of how to do them. And this is where your lookbook will be a great reference point for you. So now we head on to part two, which will be creation. So since you've already done your planning and you know what type of content you're going for, this part will be a lot easier, and also it's the most fun part of the whole process. So we'll take product shots as an example. Now the point of the product shot is to show off what you are selling to your customers. So the entire focus of these photos needs to be on the product itself. Now the key to getting a lot of varied content is to take these sections that you've made, like your client share, your product shots, your whatever, and then break them down even further into different kinds of photos. So for product shots, you can do standard flat lay where your shirt's flat on the ground. You can do shots on a mannequin. You can take some shots on a hanger. You can even take some shots of your shirt on a person where the focus is more on the shirt than it is on the person, as opposed to a lifestyle shot where in the lifestyle shot, the focus would be more on what the person is doing while wearing your shirt rather than the shirt itself. So with this information, you can go out with your camera or your phone and try and get as many different types of shots as you possibly can to fill this one purpose of product shots. If you constantly use your lookbook or just social media as a reference point for inspiration, it'll be very surprisingly easy to get a lot of photos out of it, at least like 10 or 15 in a day. So basically what we've done so far is we've taken your social media and we've broken the posts up into 4 different categories. And then for each of those 4 different categories, you go and break that up further into different types of photos that you can do. So if you maybe spend a day on each category like this, you will end up with a lot of content, enough for at least a month within about 3 days. And it'll all be varied content with a purpose that's well planned and thought out. So then the next part is obviously posting and scheduling. So after you've made your mountain of content, all that's really left to do is to post it. And this can also be done a lot easier by scheduling ahead. So since you have all your content ready to go, you can space it out in a way that makes sense. So it's not 4 product posts and then a client share and then 4 product posts and then another thing. You can have some consistency in rotating the different types of posts, so there's always something fresh. You can space it out in a way that your page will not get boring and that there's a different type of thing coming out every single day, even though you did everything in sort of one swoop. And there's some great tools for this, like you can use the app later to do the physical scheduling. And then there's the preview app as well, which lets you see a preview of what your Instagram feed will look like beforehand. And that's basically it. That's how you will create a comprehensive content plan without actually sitting down and writing down what's going out each and every single day, which I've tried to do and it hasn't worked for me, and I'm sure it doesn't work for a lot of other people. If that works for you, then great, but this is a way to keep the fun and creativity in your content creation while still planning ahead. So on to part 4, which shows you some extra tips and tricks that you can use along the way. So there's a bunch of hurdles and learning curves that you will run into while doing this for the first time, but don't give up. If you don't have a camera, use your phone. The cameras on phones are amazing these days, and you can really do some incredible stuff with it. Or if you don't know how to take a certain kind of photo that you might have put in your lookbook, go look it up on YouTube. Like, there's a million different tutorials on how to take very specific types of photos, giving you tips and tricks and how to do it with your phone and how to use natural light and all these things. You really don't need a mountain of gear or to have studied photography to do this. All you need to do is just go look a little bit on YouTube, and I promise you will find what you are looking for. Same thing goes for photo editing or any graphic design. There are hundreds of thousands of tutorials on YouTube that are mostly all great, that you can use to find out any little niche thing on how to do it. All of these skills will come in super handy with running your brand, so it'll really be good to learn these as early on as possible. It's really easy to look at someone else's social media and think, oh, but they have professional photographers and they can afford these crazy models and go to these beautiful places, and get demotivated by that. But you don't need any of those things. You don't even need to spend a single cent on it if you're willing to put in some work. If you keep learning and simply take it step by step and just focus on what's in front of you right now, I promise you will be able to surprise yourself with what you are capable of in no time at all. And lastly, don't get demotivated if it doesn't start taking off right away. Building an online community takes a lot of time and consistency in most cases. We've all heard of overnight success stories online and on social media, but that shouldn't be what your goal is. Your goal should be to build a real community of people that actually care about you and your brand. It is a lot better to have 500 people following you that are active and involved and a part of your community and buy your products than to have 500,000 people follow you that are in different countries and they just don't care. Please subscribe for future content like this and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching.